Happy Monday, September 5th, 2022. It is Labor Day. And what is Labor Day? Well, it talks about labor, work, celebrating that. And a lot of times it was kind of in the past, and even still a little bit, it's union-centric, the trades, doing, working with your hands and physicality, that kind of thing, physical, labor, doing work. We're moving into a time where it's a little bit different, though. A lot of there's still those work projects that have to be done. You need that, you need those skills. That's my buddy Mitch. He's a carpenter. You got to have those hands. I mean, we had this discussion actually with home building. There's a company, I think it's out of Texas, that does concrete homes, and it's all automatic. They have these big machines that come through. I don't even know what you call it. It's like, you ever see the like at ports where they have the cranes that move the cart, the shipping containers. It's kind of like that, but on a smaller scale. But it's got like this nozzle, and it's like, if you've ever seen like a cake being made frosted, that's what it looks like. And it just pours concrete out, and it does it in patterns. It's like, it's all in a program, and houses can be built like in one day using this. I mean, it's concrete structures, very efficient, gets done very quickly, and then you got a house. And then you got to come in, and of course do it in wiring and that kind of thing, where your trades and your labor comes in. And but it's pretty interesting, the technology that's out there and how we see things moving forward, which is not a bad thing. It's just we have to be prepared for it. It used to be horse and buggies, and you had a horse industry, you got to shoe the horses, you got to take care of the horses, you got to do all this stuff, board them, feed them, move them, and so then the automobile came along, and so you have a whole new infrastructure that has to form. You have oil and, gasoline and filling stations that got to be, in different places, because you got to be able to fill these things up. And so as we transition now to this, the attempted transition to an electrified society and electric cars with batteries, you need infrastructure for that. And so you need charging stations. And right now, that's one of the big problems. You don't have the charging stations where you need them. So you can go 250 miles if you're lucky on one charge, but then there's not just a station where you can charge. So you got to plan that out, maybe go out of your way just to charge up the car, otherwise it's dead. So until that infrastructure is in place. But anyway, I was talking about labor, talking about how human beings and the labor of human beings, which, I mean, it's a necessary thing to an extent. However, as human beings, we try to automate things. We try to make things a little bit easier. We come up with Rube Goldberg devices. Go look that one up. As far as, contraptions that make things easier, mousetrap games, Rube Goldberg kind of thing. But we try to become efficient, I think, as human beings. And so, man, I don't want to bust my back. I don't want to have to lift that stone. Okay, let's put it on a pulley system, or let's lever it and roll it down a hill, or, find different ways to do it that is less back-breaking, because ultimately we can't labor anymore. The body breaks down, it wears out, and then you got to, work smarter or not harder, right? So it's kind of in human nature that we want to maximize efficiencies as much as we can. I don't want to say we're generally lazy. It's just we don't want to be broken down so much. Some people want to, and they want to work and brag about how hard they work every day, and and then they're in pain, and then they're broken down, and at some point you can't work. It's important to, a good day's work is good because it makes you appreciate the things that you have. But time and time again, every day, that laborious activity, it wears you down. And there are jobs out there that wear you down, and we celebrate those jobs today on Labor Day. But going back to humanity trying to become more efficient, you think about money. It used to be that you had to lug around money. You had to transport it in stagecoaches. You see that, stagecoach got robbed, it had gold in it. And that's where the money was. It had to get transported. And there's a risk with that. There's danger with that. I mean, the gold rush, you look in the western United States in mid-1800s to where everybody's going to California and, going to Alaska later. And everybody, you get a lot of people chasing that, and the effort and the energy that's used to try and extract that gold from the earth. And then, people kill each other over it. They steal from each other over it. It's a physical thing that has to be moved and has to be protected. It has to be You know, it's not very efficient. It really isn't. But at the time, you didn't have a lot of efficiencies. You know, you're still using horses. And we weren't in such a hurry. Well, we couldn't be in such a hurry because the technology didn't allow us to be in a hurry, allow things to move quickly. And now as we progressed, you know, you get bills and paper bills. You still got to carry those bills around. They can be destroyed. I mean, it's, you know, the good thing about gold and silver being money is you couldn't destroy them necessarily. Gold especially, you couldn't destroy it. You can't destroy it. It just retains its properties. It became the form of money because it could not be destroyed or necessarily devalued. Now, it could be devalued if a bunch more comes out of the ground. But as we move forward, we're looking for efficiency here in money. It's a lot easier to carry a dollar bill in your pocket or a $20 bill, you know, and that's exchanged for a 1 ounce gold piece. So much easier to carry that gold note or that silver certificate in your pocket and take it to a warehouse or a bank at the time and exchange it for an ounce of silver. Hey, here's a silver certificate. Some of you have seen those. It says silver certificate on it. You used to be able to, upon demand, you know, the bearer can take it into a bank and get an ounce of silver. It's backed by silver. It made sense. Well, then they did away with that. Then they took the silver out of the money. And then pretty soon you have no real value in the money, but the money still works. I mean, it's portable. You can carry it around. You can carry a $100 bill around. You know, it's got some purchasing power. And then you get to a point where it just continually becomes devalued. It may be more efficient. It has become more efficient, but it's gotten more devalued in the process. So now, how many people even carry cash? You don't even think about gold. You don't even think about silver. But you might have some cash. And if you don't, you'd probably go to a bank and take it out with a card. But most people want to pay digitally. They want to swipe the card. It's just so much easier. You know, it's I can tell you stories about cash being lost. You know, people who I know close to me have lost it by carrying too much. And it just, you know, it gets stolen, disappears. And so they like to carry the cards. And the younger people especially like to carry the cards. I mean, and if, wow, I can do it on my Apple Pay, cool. I can do it on an app, cool. So we're at that point where it's become very efficient and it's just boom, done, boom, done. Problem is, the money has been created to such an extent that it has lost value. And that's what inflation is. You know, if you inflate the money supply, you've got more money, and that money is going to go into other places. It's going to go in the cost of things. It's going to cause price inflation. It's going to make costs of things go up because you got more money. And so what do we do about it? You know, we're in this digital age. We're in this age of efficiency. We want to be efficient. We want to have money that moves quickly, you know. Don't want to carry gold and silver around, you know, and lug it around, carry, you know, briefcases full of dollar bills, $100 bills. We don't want to do that. But we want to make sure that we can pay for the stuff when we need to pay for it. So we've got this digital system, and we're in this digital system. There's no way out of this digital system at this point, unless everything just implodes. So you need sound money for the digital age. I preach about Litecoin, but cryptocurrency is that thing that maximizes efficiency and money. You don't have to worry about it being counterfeit. You don't have to worry about it not getting to the person. You don't have to worry about a chargeback. So you go and, if you're accepting a credit card as a business, that customer can go to the credit card company for 6 months after the purchase and say, that was fraudulent. Or, you know, I dispute that. And then the card company usually errs on the side of the buyer, and then they charge the money back from the person who sold it. I mean, so it's hard to stay in business. It's rough. And then you get hit with a credit card transaction fee. I mean, it's just, you know, you're not winning. And so now that you have cryptocurrency, you know, I mean, you can do this from me to you to me. We can send money directly, peer to peer. And the blockchain takes care of that. And the blockchain is just simply a bunch of computers, the dog's barking, you know, trying to get loose. Laboring over there trying to get loose, you know, off the chain. But you've got blockchain that confirms that. You got thousands of computers around the world that are running the code. And let's just take Litecoin in this case, you know, the Litecoin chicken. Let's take Litecoin. You got thousands of computers running the Litecoin code. they're validating transactions. They are making sure that these are legitimate, sends back and forth. And it's been doing that for almost 11 years now. On October 13th, it'll be 11 years running nonstop. And it is completely decentralized to where it's not one entity that, if this mining operation goes down and they're mining these coins goes down, it doesn't matter. Hey, if these computers go offline, a third of the computers, EMP in the United States, a third of the computers running Litecoin, go offline. Well, there are other countries running the computers at the same time, and it will continue to process transactions. So it's not as though Bank of America got hacked, all the accounts are frozen, ATMs don't work. It's not like that because there's no single point of failure. You've got multiple nodes out there, and all that means is multiple computers out there running the code. And so it continues to run. And that's why it's got 11 years uptime. How can you say that about your bank? I can't log in. This ATM's not working, or it's out of money. It doesn't happen in cryptocurrency. So it's gotten to the point where our money has become very efficient. Can be very efficient. And it can be trusted. It's efficient now, and the Fed now that's coming out starting this month, September, and they want to release it by July of 2023, where they have instantaneous transactions between banks, and it's going to be so easy. That's what they want you to think, but they're going to control that whole system. They still have a monopoly on it. It's not decentralized. It's not something that you can hold in your possession like cryptocurrency. Let's take Litecoin. I'm going to keep talking about Litecoin. You can take Litecoin and you can hold it in your possession. You hold the private key in your possession. It's always on the blockchain. The blockchain secures all the coins. It's just you've got the key to unlock your coins and do what you want with them and send them anywhere you want. So it's always safe on the blockchain. You just have to make sure you got the key to unlock them, your private key, or your 12-word seed phrase, the words that you write down when you open up a wallet. You want to make sure you always keep that safe because that is the key to all of it, unlocking it. You've got that ability. With Fed now, you won't have that ability. They will control the system. They will control the rigged game as they've always done. And you got to think, is that a good idea? Is it a good idea to centralize the money? Hasn't been a good idea because then they can manipulate the money. Then they can do whatever they want. They can say you can't use the money. It's a vampire casino. See, they have the poker chips. And they can change the value of those chips anytime they want. You had a $100 chip? Well, it's a $10 chip now. It's just what we do. Because you're kind of you've said some things. You're kind of vocal. You're a little, against the government message. And you don't agree with that speech that the president, put out. We saw what you did on social media. Those chips, we're going to freeze them for a little bit. We're not going to let you use them. They're going to lock you into that casino. And it's going to be all digital. And everywhere you go, you're not going to be able to do what you want to do. It's important to have sound money in your possession. It's important to have sound digital money that's in your possession. You can do that with Litecoin. You can take that offline. Take your keys offline. Hold those in your possession, and no one can move that Litecoin. Only you can control it. Very powerful. A lot of responsibility. A lot of people don't want that. But if you want to be free, you need to take responsibility for your life. You need to see, cryptocurrency has given us the ability to take control of the money. We can use any money we want. It doesn't have to be Litecoin. It could be Bitcoin. It could be DigiByte. It could be Dogecoin. It could be anything. It could be Vertcoin. It could be Redcoin. It could be anything that you choose. And if enough people choose, then that money has power and value. And that's why Bitcoin, is $20,000 for one Bitcoin. And you look at what Litecoin is, $60, way undervalued. Only 4 times as many as Bitcoin, so you'd think it'd be a quarter of the price. No, it's actually got privacy built into it with Mimblewimble to where you can send Litecoin. Nobody knows how much you have in your wallet. Nobody knows where that came from. A completely private transaction. It's like handing somebody cash in an envelope that nobody can see in the dark. Very powerful tool. Privacy is important with your money. So as we move into this age of efficiency and, we drop all the difficulties of moving money around, it's important, I think, to understand that there will be forces that still want to take control of the money and still want to not relinquish control of the money. We do have an alternative, though. We have an option. We have an option that we can hold in our possession. And if you look at Litecoin as that option, which I do, people say, well, what can you do with it? Well, it's on PayPal. It's one of the 4 cryptocurrencies that you can buy and sell on PayPal and withdraw. You can buy it with money from the old system, money out of your checking account. You can buy it and you can withdraw it and take possession of it into your wallet. Wallet on your phone, wallet on your computer. You can use it on Venmo, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash. Those are the only 4. And as you look across platforms, those tend to be the 4. Litecoin's always on it. Litecoin's on every ATM. Litecoin is on every exchange. Litecoin is very liquid, very easy to move, very cheap to move. It's it's truly sound money for the digital age. So as we move forward, as we move into this digital world, it's important to make sure that we have possession of our digital money, our digital energy, our labor. That's what it is. Our work, our labor, our energy, that's all money does is store it up. And we got to make sure that it stores it up and holds it. Because the worst thing that can happen is, hey, think 50 years ago. You had a grandfather, grandmother, worked their whole lives, saved a bunch of money. Hey, they saved it in cash. They passed it down, in a box, in a briefcase, whatever it is, passed it down to your parents, and then they passed it down to you. If they had $100,000 then, they'd be like millionaires now. However, that $100,000 is not worth what it was. Not today. It's been devalued through inflation because there's been hundreds of thousands of dollars printed for everywhere else, and millions of dollars, and billions of dollars, and trillions of dollars. So that $100,000 really doesn't mean that much anymore. It means a lot, but not what it did then. They could have saved $10,000, and that was a lot of money. Because at the time, gold was, $35 an ounce? You think about that. $35 an ounce, and now it's $1,700 an ounce. That tells you right there what's happened to the dollar. Price of gold, it's not that the price of gold's worth anything more. It's still an ounce of gold. It's just valued in dollars. It takes more dollars to buy that same piece of gold. That's inflation. And they're just going to continue to inflate. They're going to continue to pass legislation and make excuses to print more money, create more money, because that's what they do. They need more money to keep this thing going. Want to get yourself into a sound asset. And since we're going digital, sound money for the digital age is Litecoin. There's only 84 million. That's only enough, if you just take America, only enough for 0.25 Litecoin for each person. Take the whole world, it's 0.01, a hundredth of a Litecoin for each person in the world. It's a scarce asset. You should look into Litecoin. All right. Hope you have a wonderful Labor Day. Maybe take a little time off and relax and ponder on what everybody's done in the past to build the present that we have. And let's start thinking about the future of money. Start looking at Litecoin. Let's start looking at cryptocurrencies, the solid cryptocurrencies. To me, it's Litecoin. It's sound money for the digital age. All right. Hope you have a wonderful Labor Day. Love you all. Thanks for watching. And, if you found any value in this, hit that thumbs up. Subscribe. And I appreciate every one of you. And you always got to trust yourself. Don't trust me. Do your own research on everything. But always look inside your gut, feel that. You've got the antenna going. You've got, the frequency inside of you. You know what's right and wrong. Trust yourself. All right. Have a wonderful day. Love you all.